Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Sari from the Spiritual View Crew. It is Wednesday, March the 26th, and this is your daily message. I intended to get this out to you about an hour earlier and record it last night, but yesterday was one of those surreal days. Can't make it up. And many of you are experiencing probably this eclipse energy all week long, leading up to it on the 29th. And we are actually doing an eclipse energy session with Dawn, and that's going to be on Saturday. And there's more information posted about that on the channel, so you can take a look at that. But yesterday, we had two separate incidences with fire trucks. I'm supporting my sister who's been in the hospital now for 5 weeks, and we are working the plan for healing. And two fire trucks, two separate incidences, unrelated, happened in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we were without power and switched to generators. So by the time I got home last night, I just had to put a pin in it and go to sleep. So this morning I'm recording, and I'm actually going to give you some messages today from the Akashic Records. And I was woken up this morning quite early, and I have been writing messages. And so I have a bunch of messages for you, but I pulled some cards. And this week is leading up to the eclipse on the 29th, and Dawn's going to lead a session for us on Saturday the 29th. And you can find more information about that posted on the channel. And on either side of the eclipse, so the week of and the week after and the weeks coming after, there's going to be some really strong energy. So I got some really beautiful messages today about how do we look at the higher wisdom of what's happening with the energies and all this energetic shifts. And we talked Monday on our live around having to continually clear our energies, protect our energy. But as we are experiencing these releases of experiences, past lives, whatever it is for you, traumas, that we're allowing the energies to move through us, but we're allowing those to let go and to move on and not to hold them. And Marcia had some beautiful messages regarding this in her Monday message. If you haven't listened to it, it's quite beautiful. Jen talked yesterday around focusing on responding to people through the lens of the heart, not the head, and that how do we use grace and compassion to respond in a very different way and allowing our souls to show up in the way that we would want to be treated if there's need for communication or there's conflict in a relationship. And right now we have, I think, the Venus and the Mercury Cazimi. So we can have a lot of disruption and some interesting energies that might get in the way of our effectiveness. So we talked yesterday about the heart, compassion, and grace. So today we're going to go up a notch. And the messages from the Akash today are really, really fascinating. So one of the things that we talked about leading up to the eclipse is how important it is to keep our energy clear and protected and grounded. Your job right now as a light worker, and this is speaking to all of you as spiritual leaders, you are teachers, and however you define it, energy healers, shamans, you are leading the way as light workers. So however this resonates for you, it's a higher message to give us context of how do we actually understand and navigate what's going on from a spiritual, a higher level, higher self perspective. And how does that help us as we are navigating ourselves, but also as we are helping to prepare others and to help teach others how to stay grounded and how to let these energies move past us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about describing the energy, and the way that they wanted me to start with you today was describing all these storms, these atmospheric storms that have been going on in the US, and usually between about late December and March. These storms come out of the Pacific and they hit California really hard, and they are powerful. And I live in California now. I'm in Tennessee at the moment. And they are 60, 70 mile an hour winds, lots of rain, hail, trees uprooted, and then it comes across the plains of the US, and it impacts the rest of the US for days after. But what's happened this year is these storms, one starts and goes across, another one starts and goes across. And so many of us are feeling just a whole succession of storms in our lives. And so they asked me to compare this to energy. Many of you are feeling and sensing, and you don't have to be in the US to see the sweeping energy from storms. And if you live in Europe or the UK, You've probably seen storms come across from the Atlantic in a very similar fashion, but it's just storm after storm after storm coming through. And it's manifesting itself differently based on where you are in the geography. But the feeling is still very much the same, that we're weathering a lot of storms right now of energy. And the counsel was, how do we remain grounded, but also how do we let the energies move through us? The way that they've been describing this is that we're in all time now, and that we've talked about this before, that all our past timelines are being dumped into the here and now. And right now, our job is to let all these energies clear. So think of it as you have all these past timelines and past lives that are coming into the now. Those lifetimes that were clear, where you finished your lessons, where you did the work, those just go away. Those energies just clear. However, it's the ones where you have unfinished business that it's like whack-a-mole. It's the game where the little alligator pops up and you whack it with the mallet, and then here comes another one. So right now, many of us are feeling these storms and energies come through where stuff is popping up from past lives, things that we probably didn't finish in terms of our business and the soul lesson. And so it's coming into the here and now to be cleared. And what we're experiencing is triggers, traumas, revisiting old soul contracts, old relationships. You may have people coming back around to you out of the blue, where you're actually given an opportunity to clear a past life with this person. So they wanted to describe it this way, so you had the context of some of the cards that I've just pulled and what our job is in terms of what we need to do first, and then how do we help others around us as we are clearing our own energies. The second energy that they gave me was one that I just experienced, and I started in California, and really bad storm, and as it came across the US, I had to fly through it to get to Nashville, and it ended up in tornadoes when I landed, and it was, quite precarious, but it was the same storm experienced again, and they liken that to soul lessons that you were revisiting, and soul contracts or things that you didn't close out that continue to come back around. And this time you might be experiencing it from a different perspective. And so you might have the first example where the energy just keeps coming through with you're in situation after situation after situation where you go, I got to take a breath here, man. And then you have maybe the same lesson that continues to cycle and to repeat itself. And I'll give you my example. I think I'm here on a soul level to clear the soul contracts for the last time with my siblings. And I'm being shown different opportunities to clear them, but they're different than what they were before. Similar, but different. So to get us started with the energy today, I wanted just to pull a couple cards to get us the key messages. And I use the word key because this card actually flipped out last week. And here it is again. This is from the Lunar Nomad Oracle deck, and this is the 33 card, which is the Christ consciousness energy. But this is the symbol of a key. Now, we talked last week, so the fact that it literally just flew out of that deck, and I wasn't even going to use it. So the message around the key is, I think during this eclipse season, whether it be this week, next week, or the weeks coming after, we may actually be seeing portals, we may be seeing energetic keys, or we may be given some sort of keys. And that is to unlock where we're going or the opportunity. So if you feel in your meditations, in your dreams, portals, pay attention. So this fact that this has come up 2 times in 2 weeks is really something to pay attention to. And I ask on a higher level, what does this actually mean? And this is from the Oracle of the 7 Energies that Dawn gifted me. And this actual card is the higher view. And if you see this, it is a woman that is, she is riding an eagle high on the skies, looking down. And we've talked about being the observer and looking down from your eagle's perch. So it's a literal eagle here, and a woman who is riding the eagle looking down from the skies. So our jobs are to feel this energy, whether it be closing out a soul lesson that's coming back around to you, or just a whole series of energies of stuff that you're just experiencing and being triggered and traumas and stuff that's all just kind of coming up to the surface. Feel it, don't suppress it. And what they said to me this morning was, it may be really uncomfortable and it may hurt and it may not be something that you want to experience, but we actually have to experience it in order to work through it and then to let the energy go. Because the key is, we cannot hold on to that energy. It's the old version of us. It is the old stuff that we don't need to hold on to, because what we're clearing is we're clearing the way for the new to come in. And we've got to clear so that this beautiful light, this new energy that wants to come in, is allowed to come in. So I asked Spirit, okay, so why is this happening right now? And the card that I pulled, and these are all from the Light Seers Tarot, is the Emperor. And of course, this is Aries energy. The why we're being shown this, and Aries in the Emperor is all about leadership. And we have a leadership moment to be the trendsetters, the pathfinders, the wayshowers, however you want to do it. We're out there, pioneering in the forest, clearing the way. And again, being the pioneer is not easy. And oftentimes what that means is we have to experience it first before we can be the exemplar to others. So in this context, I'm calling the Emperor the exemplar. And the exemplar is not necessarily a teacher, but it's a way shower through your own collective experience. You've gone through it, so you know what the journey is for others around you. So think of yourself as the exemplar through this beautiful energy of the Emperor. And through the Aries season, which we're in now, we have the opportunity to stand tall, to actually experience these energies working their way through us and closing out all these old cycles that are ready to be closed, and to let this beautiful new energy come in. But going through it doesn't mean that it's easy whatsoever. The next steps, and what's most important for us to pay attention to, is the Eight of Swords. And Jen talked about this yesterday. If we become heart-centered and not focus on the head and our mental thoughts, then we're going to be fine. But this card is indicative oftentimes of being stuck in the head. So it's a reminder to us that we have got to drop into the heart. Remember, we talked about superpowers, focusing on the heart center, not the head. And we've all been trained in this third dimensional perspective to actually go to the head first. What do you think about it versus how do you feel? So this is a reminder that as we are going through this energy clearing over the next number of weeks, that we have to stay in our heart center, and we have to do it with grace and compassion for ourselves as well as for those around us. Now, the next steps, and I love this card, and this is again the Temperance card, and this is Archangel Michael by our side once again, and he showed up last week in the reading. So Archangel Michael is really present around all of us right now. So I would ask you to take advantage of that energy. This is around balance, moderation. It is around not being in the extremes of one or the other. It's somewhere in the middle. It can also be about forgiveness. And sometimes temperance can be, how do we forgive ourselves for not being perfect? And how do we become less hard on ourselves and harsh on ourselves? So ask Archangel Michael to continue to guide you through the journey. And then what we don't see coming, I had two cards actually that flipped out. One was the Three of Wands, and you see this woman with a surfboard looking out at the ocean. So she has been very clear with her intentions, and she has set those, and she is just waiting. So this is the period where we may not necessarily see what's coming, but we know it's coming because we're very clear about our intentions. And this other card pulled out the Six of Pentacles. They both came out together, so I took them. And the Six of Pentacles is really around generosity, and it's also around equal give and take. And so we may find that we are balancing in our relationships and also in our energy the ability to receive as much as we give. So if you are a giver like I am, sometimes you overgive and you become depleted. So during this time, make sure as you are waiting for things to manifest and come out on the other side, that you are in receiver mode as much as you are in giver mode. In Spirit's last message, I have two today, and I'm going to make sure that I cover everything that they told me. They said, as you look at the other side, think of yourself, and we talked about this on Monday. Oftentimes, as you go through this, you are in a cocoon phase and you're coming out the other side of the eclipse as a butterfly. So think of this beautiful butterfly that you were becoming, and you were spreading your wings and letting your light shine. That was what they were saying. And while you're in the cocoon phase, and my father used to say this all the time, this too shall pass. And this is what we need to go through in order for us to get to the other side. Because once we get to the other side, it's like it's going to be this huge, massive clearing, and we will be seen and we will see. They said, you will be seen and you will see. And so the higher wisdom of the message today, their final message was from the Akashic Records guidebook. And this is about release. And what they were saying this morning was, you got to surrender. You can't force it. You can't stop it. You can't resist it. Just allow all this energy to come through you, the good, the bad, the ugly, how yucky it might feel. Just stay grounded and centered and know that you're going through this because you're teaching it to others who are behind you in their evolution and in their journey, who probably have absolutely no context for what's going on. Because at the end of the day, once we get to this other side, and we've been saying this, it's showtime. Everything is going to be illuminated. The path is clear. It's time for action. It's time to go. And so we're getting this opportunity right now with all these past timelines coming together as they are popping up like whack-a-mole. Just knock them down, but let the energy come through you. Don't hold it and don't get stuck in your head about it, okay? Take the higher perspective and be the exemplar, because you're going through this to teach it to other people. And as you're going through it, make sure that you call on Archangel Michael and that you are openly receiving as much as you are giving. And the last card in the message is, but just release. It's okay to surrender to what Spirit has for us. And I pulled one last card. Which archangel is with us? And this is a new one. And this archangel is actually very closely tied to Archangel Michael. Big surprise here. And this is called Archangel Dorenka. And it says, hone your psychic abilities and see through the illusion. In this guidebook, talks about Dorenka coming from another universe to oversee and look after bats who have advanced knowledge about sonics and echolocation. And they come to Earth through Sirius, where they learn to fine-tune their data to fit into our atmosphere. And it says, Archangel Dorenka's color is deep gray black. He vibrates on a very different wavelength from other archangels. Because of this, some people find it more difficult to connect with his frequency. And this card guides you to open up to the psychic abilities that are latent within you. So Dorenka and Michael actually work together in the different realms. And Dorenka, as you see, has bats flying over him. So it's very connected to psychic perception, vibration, and probably quite a unique vibration. So Archangel Michael and Archangel Dorenka are with us for this next phase of the journey to help us move through this energy, to call upon them when we are either frustrated or feeling like we don't know what's happening. It's all happening for a reason, and we're going to come out on the other side brave and strong and exemplars of this process, because we are actually being given keys to be able to help others unlock their own potential and their own spiritual awareness and ascension process and expansion. So that's a wrap for today. Those are the messages. We are the teachers, guys. We are the wayshowers, and we have to step up. But there's part of the house cleaning, and I call this house cleaning, of what we have to do for ourselves before we can be the exemplars and shine the light for others. We just have to go through the experience. So stay brave, stay strong, stay grounded, call upon Archangel Michael and Archangel Dorenka, and realize that we are looking at this from the higher view and the higher perspective. So this was the context I wanted to give you today, leading up to the eclipse. And all of us are very grateful for your support of this beautiful spiritual community. We'll be back tomorrow with Wendy with Her Daily Message, Friday with Dawn, and we'll be with you live on Friday at Eastern Standard Time at 6 p.m. We will see you then, and hopefully this resonated with someone. Have a beautiful day, and just sending lots of love, lots of great energy, and stay grounded, baby. Bye.